Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'd like to talk about Plasmon, which is probably the first commercially available milk protein supplement that was used by bodybuilders and strongmen during the Bronze Era. And I'd also like to address some questions about this supplement that was used during this period. After researching and recently presenting new information on the bodybuilding diets of Bronze Era strongmen, such as Eugene Sandow, Bernard McFadden, Charles Neal, and the Saxon brothers, I have learned that many Bronze Era physical culturists used Plasmon. Now, although I've read most books written by Eugene Sandow, very little information was given about this mysterious supplement in his books, and other than it was an albumin extract from milk. I mean, that's as much as I really learned from it. But upon further investigation, I discovered that several books were actually written about this mysterious supplement called Plasmon, which gave more information on this supplement, which I will detail in today's video. Enjoy. I'd like to recap from my previous videos what exactly Plasmon is. It's an albumin extract from buttermilk that was developed by German scientists and used worldwide during the Bronze Era. Prior to operations, for example, surgeons would give their patients Plasmon, and it would also be used as a post-op meal because it was easy to digest. It was advocated by strongmen such as Eugene Sandow and Charles Neal, and eventually became a very popular supplement, not only used by strongmen, but it became so popular that it was eventually marketed to the general populace at the time, much like protein powders and supplements are marketed today. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Eugene Sandow's books mention Plasmon and how it was used by Sandow, and briefly explain what it was. But to be honest, I was left with wanting to know more about what it was, and so I did some research and found the Plasmon Cookery book, which actually explains what Plasmon is. Just to read directly from the book, take Plasmon as an instance. Plasmon is a white granulated substance devoid of scent or flavor, so it can be easily manipulated, and when used in cookery does not alter the taste of any dish. It is therefore safe to use. Now let us consider the advisability of using it. Well, Plasmon is the scientifically prepared albumin of pure fresh milk. It is an albumin which is in no way altered, so that it possesses all the nourishing qualities of the albumin of, example, meat, white of egg, or milk, without the bulk of water. Unlike the casein of cheese, the albumin in this preparation is chemically unaltered. Consequently, it is digestible and easily assimilated. As albumin is the chief requisite of the human system for restoration of waste of muscle, nerve, bone, etc., the importance of this substance will be at once recognized. As Plasmon possesses no flavor or scent, it can easily and safely be added to any dish with the surety that it will add enormously to its nourishing properties and moreover assist in making it light and digestible. Enough reading. Essentially, what is Plasmon? It appears to have been a white granulated substance with no flavor or any smell. So very easy to therefore add to any recipe, such as cookies, chocolate bars, oatmeal, and that's actually what it was used for by the general populace in the day. It was used to enrich any recipe, any food really, because it was basically an albumin isolate from fresh milk. And albumin, of course, is a type of protein that is found in animal products such as meats, eggs, and milk. And what was apparently so good about Plasmon was that it represented a form of undernatured albumin, making it very easy to digest and assimilate. At least this is what I gather from having read this book. And yeah, according to the the people that created Plasmon, they said it was not just a muscle builder, but basically a whole body builder. It was great for developing the whole body. Now I'm going to go through some really interesting ads that were available in the early 1900s for your own entertainment, so you can actually see as well how Plasmon evolved from being targeted just to strongmen, athletes, the Navy, etc., to later the general populace. I hope you enjoy this. For example, here's a very vintage advertisement on Plasmid, and it states, Plasmon is the nutrition of pure sweet milk in the form of a cream-colored powder. In its preparation, all the nutritive qualities of milk are retained, freed from fat and sugar. 1 teaspoonful is equivalent to an ordinary beefsteak. And this is actually what is stated by, I believe, by Eugene Sandow in his books, as well as the writers of the book Plasmon Cookery Book. It further states here, it will give an increased nutritive value to all foods when added to them without affecting their flavor. As I mentioned, it was then marketed to be also used not just like a supplement, but to literally add it to your oats, to your soups, to anything that you ate, to increase the value, the nutritive value of your food, and especially increase your protein intake. So here's some more interesting information on Plasmon. For example, in the middle, I've got a book that I've actually got a copy of, and it's called A Book for Athletes and Others, Plasmon, the Mainstay of Life, What It Is. And within the book, you actually get some pages where Eugene Sandow talks about Plasmon, and that's on pages 21, I believe, to 29. You can see here in the middle of this book, you've got the image of a man carving Plasmon into a Roman column. Now this particular image was then used, as you can see on the left here, in advertisements all around the world. Here is a German advertisement where it says Plasmon Siebold's Milch Eiweiß. Now Milch Eiweiß, what it actually stands for, or translated to English, is milk. Milch is milk. Eiweiß stands for egg white. Egg white is the word for protein in German. So you can see that basically here we've got an ad, a German ad for Plasmon stating that it is milk or protein. And on the far right here we've got Plasmon is a fresh milk reduced into an enduring dry and soluble powder. 100 pints of milk make 3 pounds of Plasmon. Wow, didn't know that. It adds enormously to the nutritive value of any food with which it is mixed. And as I mentioned earlier, it was targeted initially to athletes and then people like the Navy, etc. Here we've got Lieutenant E.H. Shackleton, late of the Discovery on the Antarctic expedition, and he writes, Sirs, I have much pleasure in testifying from actual experience as to the excellence of Plasmon preparations. We used them continually during the National Antarctic Expedition, and the Plasmon powder was one of the principal items of food on the southern sledge journey in which Captain Scott, Dr. Wilson, and myself made the world's record for further south. Another sledging party practically lived on Plasmon during one journey they made. I have had occasion to fit out polar expeditions for other people since my return to England, and have always included a quantity of Plasmon preparations among the provisions. So you can see that it was used not just by athletes, but now even used by people that were doing these expeditions at the time. And it's interesting that then at the bottom of this particular advertisement you see ads for now Plasmon cocoa, which Plasmon was now being mixed with cocoa to create these kind of chocolate powders, and Plasmon oats, best Scotch oats scientifically mixed with Plasmon. So you can see even at the bottom of that you've got Plasmon powder, Plasmon cocoa, Plasmon oats, Plasmon chocolate, Plasmon arrowroot, Plasmon biscuits, and even beef Plasmon in tins, all supplied by the International Plasmon Company from London. So it was being marketed now and sold as a food and even added to foods. Finally, I'd like to share a couple of ads I found on the internet. Here we've got Plasmon now being sold as Scotch oats, and it says here the food value is 70% greater, as stated by the Lancet. The Lancet is a scientific journal, and yeah, I mean, it even says at the bottom there, it makes bone, muscle, and brain, so it's a real tissue builder. And yeah, it was then advertised, as I mentioned earlier, to families and to the general populace. Here we've got a boy, adding Plasmon secretly to his mother's cooking, and it says there Plasmon cocoa and chocolate, Plasmon oats, Plasmon biscuits, and the boy just states there, "I will be strong," because he's using Plasmon. So yeah, I mean, it was marketed as I mentioned earlier to the general populace after initially being marketed to bodybuilders and strongmen, and I hope this has answered most of your questions. Plasmon essentially was albumin extracted from milk, pure albumin, in an undernatured form that was essentially used as a protein supplement. Now, if you'd like to learn more about how these protein supplements such as Plasmon were used, for example, by Eugene Sandow, I recommend that you read The Gospel of Strength, where he greatly goes into his high protein diet and the use of of the Plasmon supplement in his diet. I recently created a video on this called The First High Protein Diet, as created by Eugene Sandow. You can find that on my website and linked above. If you'd like to learn more about his methods of training, I also would recommend reading The Gospel of Strength, or Strength and How to Obtain It, or Sandow's System of Physical Training. All of these books and plenty more are available on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. So I hope you've enjoyed this video on Plasmon, the first commercially available protein supplement from milk. And I hope that you finally learned what it is, and I hope that I've answered most of your questions. Essentially, as I mentioned before, Plasmon was just albumin extracted from milk in an undernatured form, and it was marketed initially, what it looks like, for athletes and then to the general populace. A real tissue builder, according to Plasmon Limited from London. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm, leave me your comments, and thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my work and research, please donate via PayPal, subscribe if you haven't yet to my Patreon account and become a patron. You can also contact me if you wish to pass on your books and magazines on old school bodybuilding, so I can continue to add to my collection and continue to bring my research forward. And yeah, you can also visit my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com, for out-of-print books and courses on old school bodybuilding. Hope you've enjoyed the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.
Hi everybody, I just want to recommend this phenomenal book, Vince's Secret Locker, volume number 2 by Carl Coyne. I've been looking at this for about 4 weeks and I can't put it down. If you get a chance, check it out. He also has a part 1 that I highly recommend also. Vince was the trainer to the stars and had an amazing, interesting gym that today there's still not equipment like it around. It was all made out of wood. He'll be on our radio show coming up probably in the next couple weeks or so. Have a great day, and again, highly recommend this book.